Welcome to Black Sheep. This is where we embrace being different, where we celebrate walking your own path, and where we find power in standing apart from the crowd. I am your host, Queen D. If you know me from Queen's Court Conversations, you already know I don't hold back. And if you're new here, buckle up, beautiful souls. I'll speak my truth. This journey is about to get real. Black Sheep, Episode 3, Childhood. Hello, Black Sheep community. I'm so excited and I appreciate you so much for joining in for another episode of Black Sheep. Now, Black Sheep means a few things. If we don't go by society's norms, we would say that Black Sheep in today's standard is the new white, meaning that for years, the media and society have told us that anything black, whether it's your clothes or whether it's a funeral, it means it's negative, and that white was pure and black was evil. Imagine as a child not understanding society's norms and thinking that they are bad or no good because the white parts are being told that they are more superior. If you feel like a superhero, you're going to act like a superhero. And if you're told that you're not good, then sometimes you will either get depressed or behave how you are perceived. For the children and adolescents and even young adults that have grown up through adulthood, hurt your feelings so bad until logic sits in and you realize the great things about the black card. It means you have wealth. The black vehicles like BMW, Rolls Royce, Mercedes, Q45, Lexus, and of course, Escalade, these are all cars that in black are superior. Limousine services drive black tie affairs. So you can see that one side believes it to be one way and another believes it to be another way. It's all about perception. But as a child who does not logically know how to interpret that, they will get the wrong message, which could affect them for the rest of their life until adulthood. That's why it's imperative as teachers and parents and guidance counselors to tell the children, the teenagers, and young adults that color is just color. There is no special perfect color because beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Some like red and some like green, some like black, some like white. The point is, you and I have the final say. That determines a lifestyle change. That determines what we eat. That determines where we live. That determines how we feel about ourselves and others. And as we talk about childhood in this episode, I want you to think back to your early days and ask yourself, was I ever taught to dim my shine because I was different? The making of a black sheep child. Today, we're exploring the childhood experience of being different, being that black sheep in a world that often demands conformity. How are these unique spirits formed? What shapes a child who marches to the beat of their own drum? Some children are born with it, that unmistakable spark of difference. Maybe it's a heightened sensitivity, exceptional creativity, or a perspective that seems beyond their years. Others become black sheep through circumstance, perhaps moving frequently, growing up between cultures, or navigating family structures that differ from their peers. The truth is, the very traits that make children struggle to fit in during their early years, intensity, questioning authority, heightened empathy, divergent thinking, are often the same traits that make them exceptional leaders, innovators, and visionaries as adults. Think about that. The preschooler who asks why until everyone is exhausted. The elementary student who can't sit still because their mind and body crave movement. The middle schooler who questions rules that don't make sense to them. These children aren't defective, they're different, and that difference is valuable. Throughout history, many of society's most impactful figures struggled to fit conventional molds as children. Some couldn't speak until later than their peers. Others had difficulty in traditional school settings. Many transformed personal challenges into revolutionary art or innovation. These weren't easy paths, but these early experiences of difference shaped unique contributions to the world. The question isn't how to make these black sheep children conform, it's how to nurture their differences while giving them the tools to navigate a world that may not immediately appreciate their gifts. My personal observation: childhood conformity. I want to share something profound I witnessed during my teaching internship. I was observing young children with special needs, and while their challenges were different, one thing remained constant. Every child wanted to belong. They wanted love. They wanted to play. They wanted joy. At their core, they didn't see color. But I noticed something else forming: groups. Even at the young age of 5, these children were learning their place in the world on the playground. This was at a private school with many privileged children. The little girls would come dressed very pretty, with costumes and beautiful dresses with bows and ribbons in their hair. There was one particular girl whose mother was different, and there is absolutely no judgment here. Her mother was a single parent who dressed in Gothic clothing, which, as we know, is black, and she had many tattoos. She was a hard-working single parent studying to become a chef. She dressed her daughter in pants and sneakers, and her hair wasn't combed with bows and ribbons like the other girls. What I observed over just about 2 weeks' time broke my heart. This little girl started having problems integrating with the other girls. They began separating and saying, "No, you can't play with us." As an observer, I watched this and thought, "What's wrong?" She would be sad, and I would take her aside and read her a book or play with her. But I wanted to keep watching without intervening too much. Her grandmother, being very wise, came to the classroom one day and saw that her granddaughter was being separated from the others. She didn't say anything then, but the very next day, her granddaughter had on a whole new style of dress. Grandmother had bought her beautiful clothes that matched the society norm for little girls, much more feminine attire. Her hair was done perfectly. Slowly, I watched as the other girls started talking to her again and letting her be part of the group. She was so happy. It was then I realized that even at this tender age, children start to form judgments about what they consider acceptable. I call it the unspoken. This pattern continues throughout our lives. Even in college classrooms where I've observed, you see the same thing happening. When professors say, "Okay, everybody, form groups for discussion," I noticed that college students also separated themselves by unspoken codes: dress, race, age, style, and even perceived attractiveness. Some thought they were better looking than others. I chuckle at that because beauty truly is in the eye of the beholder. But I did see these patterns forming everywhere. It goes back to what we're talking about today: being different, being authentic, being your original self. Self acceptance is something powerful when we let go of ego. Logically, we can see that if we let the heart in, we have more success because the ego operates from fear and that unspoken question: where do I belong? Can I fit in this group? Labels and their power. Children are labeled early and often: troublemaker, class clown, daydreamer, difficult, too sensitive, too loud, too quiet, too much. These labels stick, becoming part of a child's internal narrative long before they have the tools to question them. By age 7, most children have absorbed messages about who they are and where they fit in the social hierarchy. As a child, I was labeled too intense. I asked questions adults couldn't answer. I felt emotions deeply. I noticed details others missed. Teachers would say, "Why can't you just?" followed by whatever would make me less disruptive to their plans. Those words became a voice in my head that took years to quiet. For many black sheep children, school becomes the first battleground where their difference meets institutional resistance. The child who learns differently, processes differently, or expresses differently often finds themselves at odds with systems designed for standardization, not individuality. There are countless stories of children labeled as problems in kindergarten simply because they couldn't sit still for story time. By second grade, many believe they're bad at learning. It can take years to undo that damage and help them see their unique learning style as a strength. Then there are the quiet black sheep, too thoughtful, too bookish. Teachers might love them, but peers find them strange. Being praised by adults while rejected by other children creates a confusing loneliness that's rarely addressed. These labels don't just affect how others see these children, they shape how children see themselves. The child repeatedly told they're disruptive starts to believe chaos is their only contribution. The child labeled too sensitive learns to hide their emotions rather than process them. But what if we reframe these labels? What if too intense became passionately engaged? What if daydreamer became visionary? What if difficult became discerning? The language we use with black sheep children doesn't just describe them, it defines the possibilities they see for themselves. So walk like you're chosen, move like you're called, rest knowing you're covered. The black sheep is not the mistake. The black sheep is the messenger. You are right where you're supposed to be. This is Queen D, and this is Black Sheep. If today's message resonated with your spirit, share it with someone else who needs to hear it. Every follow, every comment, every share reminds another black sheep that they're not alone, that standing apart is actually standing in power. Until next time, stay authentic, stay bold, stay you.